Okay, this is Algebra 1-1, section 1.2, and we're looking at order of operations. We want to do grouping. I know you've memorized it as PIMDAS and it's parentheses, but really this is any kind of grouping. It could be absolutes, could be parentheses, could be brackets. It could even just be the top of a fraction. That's considered to be inside of parentheses. E is for exponents. And MD is multiply, divide. It's super important on multiply, divide that you know that this is left to right, not multiply first or divide first. It's left to right. So that's why I've listed them side by side. Same thing with add, subtract. It is left to right. Don't do add before subtract. Just go left to right with it. Okay. Now we evaluate some expressions here. First thing is the exponent. So we do 4 times 4 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. Next expression, we do exponent first, that's 36. Bring down the minus 4, the plus 15. And we do 15 plus 36 is 51. Minus 4 is 47. Next one. You have to go into the innermost parentheses, which would be 9 plus 3, which is 12. Divided by 4 comes next, because there's a bracket around that. That would be 3, and now bring your 2 down. 2 times 3 is 6. Next one, we have 3 squared. That has to be done before you can multiply. So 3 squared would be 9 times 2 plus 4. 9 times 2 is 18 plus 4 is 22. Three plus 9 is 12. 12 times 4 is 48. Two times 3 cannot be done before you square that. That is the most common error and the most tested error that you'll see. 3 times 3 has to be done before taking 2 times 2. So 3 times 3 would be 9, and then 2 times 9, 18. Okay, I suggest you turn off the video and turn it back on to check your answers. Do the last 3 by yourself. Okay, here are the answers. 32 can be broken down into 4 times 8, and 4 times 8 can be broken down into 2 times 2, and 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So if we look at that, there's 5 2's there. It's being divided by 8 2's. So I would suggest just taking those 8 2's and writing them out this way and canceling top to bottom. We end up with 2 times 2 times 2 on the bottom, which would be 1/8 plus 6, which is just 6 1/8. The next problem that you did, you had to do exponent inside the parentheses first. That would be 4. 8 minus 4 is 4 times 3 equals 12. Last problem here. I want to make sure you understand the difference. When you have a parenthesis and the negative on the inside, I was telling you guys in class, think of that as like a shock collar around everything. Everything gets the power. If you put your hand inside of a shock ring and there's something else in there, you'll both get that power. So they're both raised to that power. And that becomes positive 9. Now in this case, the power isn't that strong. It won't reach over to the negative. It's not inside of a collar. So this is literally negative times 3 squared. Negative times 9. So 2 different answers on those. That's why I have the arrows in between, is for you to know the difference. Now I want you to evaluate when y equals 8. So we'd plug 8 in here, square it, minus 3. 8 squared is 64, minus 3 is 61. 2 times 8 squared. Again, you have to square the 8 first, so that's 64 times 2, which is 128. 10y plus 1 over y plus 1. You may not just cancel your y plus 1, by the way, in there. If you were to be tempted by that, you can only cancel factors. So now we go ahead and we plug in the 8 for y, so it's 10 times 8 plus 1 over 8 plus 1, because you're plugging 8 in for y. 10 times 8 would be 80 plus 1 over 8 plus 1 is 9. 81 over 9 can be reduced to being 9 over 1, or just 9. Few prep skills for this next one. The least common denominator of the fractions 3/8 and 12. Well, you're asking yourself, what will 8 and 12 both go into? One way to do that is to take 8 and break it down into its prime factors. 12 and break it down into its prime factors. And now we say, okay, in order to, oh, I'm sorry, it's not 2 times 2 times 4, it's 2 times 2 times 3. Now, in order to find the lowest common denominator, we need to list the greatest number of factors that occurs in either one. So we would have 2 times 2, that occurs in both. But now that's the greatest number, is a third 2 there, so we have to bring down that third 2. We have a 3 over here. Even though we don't have one over here, we have to include it. And 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. There are other ways to get that. If you have another way you like, feel free to ask me in class. The variable in the expression, 5x minus 3, is x. Variables are letters. According to the order of operations, what is the first step in simplifying this? It would be doing the 3 plus 4. Copy and complete whether it's less than, greater than, or equal to. Well, this first one, I would just list them right over top of each other, 26.70, 29.69. You can ignore the decimal and ask yourself, well, which is bigger? 2,670 or 2,969? The bigger one. It points at the smaller one. This one we have 1509. We can do the same trick as I did up there. However, you need to make sure and have the equal number of decimals. You're lining up the decimal points. So 15.9, you need to add a 0 over there. cover up that decimal and ask yourself which one's bigger, 1,509 or 1,590. Now we come over to this. If we write these two over top of each other, 0.333 or 0.34, and we have to add a 0 to get the 3-digit places. Cover the decimal, which is bigger, 333 or 340. It'd be the 340, so we point at the smaller one. On this one, 2.5, 2.500. Well, we add our decimal places, or I should say digits. Cover the decimal point. 2,500 is equal to 2,500. Okay, next expression, they want us to evaluate again. So we have m equals 5, so we plug in 5 for m. Always use parentheses, even if it doesn't need to be used. 52 minus 5 would be 47. 1.7, parentheses 5, you need to be very comfortable in this math class knowing that a number next to a letter means multiply, or a number next to a parentheses means multiply. So we would get 8.5. 5 plus 39 equals 44. And 125 divided by 5 equals 25. M equals 6, they want you to evaluate, so you plug it in here for M. 5 times 6 is 30, that would be the order of operations, minus 9 equals 21. 16 minus 10 minus 3. Remember, you go left to right, so 16 minus 10 is 6, minus 3 is 3. Now, had you not done order of operations, you might have made a mistake there. If you went 16 minus 10 minus 3 and you did not go left to right, you would get 7 there if you were making an error with that. And 16 minus 7 is 9. That is incorrect. You need to go left to right with the subtraction. Okay, that concludes that section of the notes. That was 1.1 and 1.2.